Ladies and gentlemen, good day. Welcome to this edition of the news broadcast program. Today's main contents are as follows. Insider reveals. Menglong's organs were used for Xi Jinping's mother. Trump mocks Xi Jinping's surrounding officials as wooden, causing the entire room to burst into laughter. CCP local governments borrow new to repay old to prop up finances, with the debt snowball growing ever larger. First, turning to the lead story. An insider states that Menglong's organs were used for Xi Jinping's mother, with currently 650,000 people worldwide signing a petition demanding the truth. The cause of death of Chinese internet celebrity male actor Menglong remains a topic of concern in overseas online public opinion. An international petition calling for an investigation into the truth of Menglong's death has already exceeded 650,000 signatures. An insider has disclosed that Menglong's organs were used for Xi Jinping's mother. At the scene of the incident, there were 10 people. Of the 4 who remained in the country, all have now been silenced. After Menglong fell from a building in the early hours of September 11th and was found dead, Beijing police quickly ruled out the possibility of homicide. However, netizens generally do not accept the Beijing police's statement. To seek justice for Menglong, someone launched a petition on the world's largest petition platform of Oz, calling on international human rights organizations to intervene and investigate the truth of Menglong's death. As of November 6th, more than 602,000 people have participated in the petition. Additionally, former Chinese media personality and writer Su Xiaohe disclosed in his self-media video program on November 5th that he obtained the latest information that day. Menglong's birth 8 characters and Xi Jinping's birth 8 characters are exactly identical in opposition, but Menglong's organs were not used for Xi Jinping. Rather, they were used for Xi Jinping's 99-year-old mother, a 99-year-old lady who received organs from a Chinese young man in his 30s. Su Xiaohe further revealed that at the scene of Menglong's death, there were 10 people present at the time. 6 subsequently fled China, while among the other 4, which included doctors, all were eyewitnesses at the scene and participants in the live organ harvesting of Menglong. This is no ordinary matter. Once disclosed, it absolutely cannot be tolerated, so the 4 individuals who did not leave have all been murdered and silenced. Following Menglong's bizarre death, initial disclosures pointed to the presence at the murder scene of CCP Standing Committee member Kai Chi's illegitimate son, Kai Jia. Later, ex-platform netizen Truth Investigation, who has been continuously tracking and following the Menglong case, stated that, based on on-site video, near the scene of Menglong's incident, there was consistently a middle-aged to elderly man dressed in white with a corpulent build. This individual initially did not attract much attention, but as netizens conducted deep digging, this mysterious figure is highly likely to be Xi Jinping's younger brother, Xi Jinping. Next, turning to the segment, Trump mocks the demeanor of Chinese officials during his meeting with Xi Jinping, triggering laughter throughout the venue. U.S. President Trump, on the 5th at the White House, ridiculed the tense and restrained behavior of Chinese officials during his talks with CCP leader Xi Jinping, who dared not answer questions independently, causing the entire room to roar with laughter. The on-site video was widely circulated on the overseas X platform that day. Trump, on the 5th, spoke at a breakfast meeting with Republican senators in the White House banquet hall. When discussing the scene of his meeting with Xi Jinping, Trump said that Xi Jinping was very dominant. During the talks, 6 Chinese officials sat on either side of Xi, all very nervous and none daring to speak. Trump imitated the appearance of the Chinese officials, bodies ramrod straight, utterly motionless as if bound. Trump said he spoke to one of the Chinese officials, who showed absolutely no reaction. He asked again, "Will you answer me?" Still no movement. Chairman, Xi simply did not allow him any reaction. Trump also asked another Chinese official of vice state-level rank, "Will you answer my question?" The individual likewise showed no reaction. Trump stated that he had never seen such posture before, never seen men with such terrified expressions. Trump further joked that he wished his own cabinet could behave like that. sitting perfectly straight, completely quiet. How wonderful. But Vice President Vance simply cannot do it. He always interjects. Could you all at least be that quiet for 2 days? Just 2 days. Trump's banter triggered uproarious laughter from the senators and journalists present. The aforementioned video became a hot topic among X-platform netizens that day. Some netizens commented that Trump, using stand-up comedy-style segments to discuss diplomacy, turned the CCP's atmosphere of fear of the leader to the point of rigidity into a hilarious political comedy. Next, turning to the segment, CCP local governments borrow new to repay old to sustain finances, with the debt snowball growing ever larger. The latest data from the CCP Ministry of Finance show that in the first 10 months, local government bond issuance reached 9.1 trillion renminbi, setting a historical record, of which 60% was used to repay old debts. Experts point out that this is essentially using the public's savings to fill fiscal holes, with the debt snowball growing ever larger and risks continuously accumulating. Amid economic recession and the collapse of land-based finance, CCP local governments are increasingly reliant on raising funds through bond issuance. Approximately 60% of the funds borrowed through local bond issuance are used to repay old debts, while about 40% are used for major project construction. The 9.1 trillion debt issuance scale is already approaching the full-year local bond issuance total of 9.8 trillion last year. According to Enterprise early warning data, in the first 10 months, local governments issued approximately 1.25 trillion in special purpose bond for resolving existing hidden local government debts, etc. Overall, the scale of local governments borrowing new to repay old reaches approximately 5.65 trillion, accounting for about 62% of total bond issuance. U.S. economist David Huang warns that local government revenue sources cannot be guaranteed, yet bonds continue to be issued, and local government debt problems will ultimately pose enormous danger to the entire financial system. Professor Xie Tian of the Aiken School of Business at the University of South Carolina points out that the CCP is no longer considering debt repayment capacity. It must now issue new debt to fill the holes of old debt. Due to persistently insufficient fiscal revenue and ongoing deficits, it has no choice but to do so. The debt scale will snowball and grow ever larger until one day it explodes. For ordinary people, their wealth is simply swallowed up by this. Xie Tian further notes that China's population growth rate continues to decline and the number of young people keeps decreasing. Borrowing new to repay old shifts the debt burden to the future, meaning the burden on future young people will grow increasingly heavy. Next, turning to the segment, domestic strike and wage demand rights defense incidents are increasing. 14 occurred in 4 days. Group protest incidents are frequent in mainland China. In the first 4 days of this month alone, at least 14 incidents of manufacturing workers striking and collectively demanding overdue wages occurred. According to incomplete statistics from the overseas website Yesterday, which has long monitored Chinese grassroots rights defense, Chinese manufacturing entered a new round of high-incidence period for labor capital conflicts in early November. In just the 4 days from November 1st to 4th, 14 incidents of manufacturing workers collectively striking to demand wages were recorded. Among them, 7 occurred on November 3rd alone, including workers at Yashil Leather Goods Company, Limited in Bayan District, Guangzhou, Guangdong, demanding wages. Workers at Zijia Technology Company, Limited in Shenzhen, Guangdong, demanding wages. Workers at Zhening Technology Company, Limited in Hengyang, Hunan, collectively demanding wages. Workers at Baohua Glasses Company, Limited in Wenzhou, Zhejiang, demanding wages. Workers at Tuya New Energy Company, Limited in Xinfeng County, Ganzhou, Jiangxi, collectively demanding wages. Workers at Into Industrial Company, Limited in Jian, Jiangxi, demanding wages, and workers at Huijun Technology Company, Limited in Shuqing County, Luan, Anhui, striking in protest against the company withholding wages. Among these 14 worker rights defense incidents, only one was triggered by wage deductions. The remaining 13 were all caused by long-term wage arrears, with arrears ranging from as little as 2 months to as long as half a year or even a year, reflecting the trend of widespread wage arrears due to tight enterprise cash flows. Additionally, according to incomplete statistics from the website ENNet, under the international human rights organization Freedom House, protest incidents in China continue to rise. At least 1,392 occurred in the third quarter of this year, a 45% increase over the same period last year, marking the sixth consecutive quarter of year-on-year growth. The province with the most protest incidents is Guangdong, accounting for approximately 16%, followed by Hunan, Hebei, and Shandong. Next, turning to this segment, another tofu dreg project appears in Zhangjiago, Hebei. Residential building develops cracks. Residents evacuated. Tofu dreg projects frequently occur in mainland China. On November 1st, a multi-story residential building in Danyang City, Jiangsu, suddenly experienced uneven settlement, causing the building to crack, and residents were urgently evacuated. On November 4th, an underground garage in a residential community in Zhangjiago, Hebei, also showed extensive cracking in columns and walls, triggering panic among residents. Multiple owners in the Rongshengshan community in Wanquan District, Zhangjiago, Hebei, posted videos on the 4th stating that the community, delivered 2 years ago, had experienced settlement in the underground garage, leading to large-scale cracking in walls and columns. Owners had previously reported to relevant departments but received no resolution. According to multiple owners, the community is a commodity housing project delivered in June 2023, with the settlement and cracking issues primarily concentrated in the underground garages of Building 9 and Building 10 in Zone A5. On-site videos show cracks in the underground garage floor, as well as extensive cracking in walls and columns, with some walls even having large holes. Owners state that they are still living in the buildings, living in constant fear and worry about safety issues. Some owners' homes, having just completed renovations, have already seen cracks in tiles. Personnel from the Wanquan District Housing and Urban Rural Development Bureau stated that the community is a new one, with the affected buildings totaling 28 households, of which 10 are currently occupied. Preliminary assessment results indicate possible subsidence of the foundation due to heavy rainfall this year. Given the CCP's habitual concealment of the truth, the official statement has sparked skepticism among owners. One owner stated that they will seek a reassessment. Some netizens left comments in the video section. The frame columns are cracked, clearly a foundation problem. Others advised, garage subsidence, uneven settlement. The underground garage should be on backfilled soil foundation. Now that it's cracked, it means the load-bearing parts are no longer as strong as before, but the pressure has not decreased. Evacuate as soon as possible. On the evening of November 1st, a 6-story residential building in Taiyang Community, Yunyang Subdistrict, Danyang City, Jiangsu, suddenly cracked, showing visible cracks running from the ground floor to the roof, along with the terrifying scene of wall fragments falling. The Danyang City Housing and Urban Rural Development Bureau issued a notice on the 2nd stating that around 11 p.m. on the 1st, Building 38 in Taiyang Community, Yunyang Subdistrict, experienced uneven settlement, causing partial cracking of the building structure. All residents of the building were safely evacuated, and the incident caused no casualties. The cause of the accident is under investigation. Next, turning to the segment, former U.S. agent warns, China and Russia use honey traps to steal U.S. secrets. A former U.S. Central Intelligence Agency agent states that China and Russia have been dispatching seductive spies to the United States to steal U.S. technology and national secrets and to conduct psychological warfare. Former agent Michael Waller revealed in an interview with Fox News on November 5th that he personally witnessed and experienced honey trap temptations from hostile countries. They're also attempting to steal secrets or corrupt politicians, using such despicable means to gain an edge over the United States. While working for the CIA in Poland, a Chinese woman around 25 years old proactively approached Waller, appearing very interested in his work. After further contact with the woman, Waller realized she was a spy and reported the matter to Polish authorities, who expelled her from the country within days. Waller stated that what shocked him was that the female spy had already investigated his background, even knowing information not included in his official resume. Waller said that honey traps are actually a form of psychological warfare, and U.S. engineers, programmers, local officials, mayors, and other politicians could all become targets. After the program aired, Waller posted on social media X, "Don't let CCP and Russian sweethearts turn you into a traitor." The former CIA agent also offered a piece of advice to Americans. If a hot-bodied woman from China shows strong interest in you, and you clearly don't deserve her, then she is a spy. Finally, turning to the segment, Trump calls on Xi Jinping to release Jimmy Lai. Yaida Akio says Trump's move is eye-opening. During talks between U.S. President Trump and CCP leader Xi Jinping on October 30th in Busan, South Korea, Trump proactively raised the case of Jimmy Lai, founder of Hong Kong's Apple Daily, and called on the CCP to release him. Japanese senior media personality Yaida Akio states that Trump's action is eye-opening. Yaida Akio posted on Facebook on November 4th, pointing out that according to media reports, a White House official confirmed that Trump did indeed discuss the Jimmy Lai case during his closed-door meeting with Xi Jinping and explicitly demanded that the CCP release him. Jimmy Lai's son, Sebastian Lai, subsequently publicly confirmed the matter and thanked Trump for speaking out for his father, hoping this would bring a turning point for Jimmy Lai's release. Yaida Akio believes that the general external expectation was that President Trump, in handling China relations, would prioritize interests and would not proactively touch on sensitive human rights issues. However, news of this meeting overturned that impression. It turns out Trump does not ignore human rights. He still pays attention to individuals who are oppressed and imprisoned, especially defenders of freedom like Jimmy Lai. Yaida Akio states that Jimmy Lai's plight symbolizes the comprehensive suppression of press and speech freedom in Hong Kong. The international community has called on the CCP to improve human rights for years, but most efforts remain at the verbal level. In contrast, Trump possesses tough measures and economic leverage and can pressure Beijing through tariffs, sanctions, and other means, giving the outside world a glimmer of hope for Jimmy Lai's situation. Yaida further states that regardless of how the outside world evaluates Trump's political stance, the fact that he can still remember those who suffer for their beliefs beyond national interests demonstrates courage and a sense of responsibility that is indeed eye-opening. Thank you for watching this edition of the program. We welcome likes, subscriptions, and comments in the comment section. Thank you, and see you next time.